When you hear about an artist, singer, who becomes famous the next day, wow, I love it, she came from nowhere. He came from nowhere. I'm like, this person has probably spent a year and a half writing the album, spending time in recording studios, spending time networking, spending time before being signed to the labels. Usually they had an EP release a year before, and it was a whole year of promotion. All the big ones that have over 1 million followers, they have been on social media, most of them since 2012. It took them months to years, and then that one day it's just a snowball effect. It's easy to have a business card. I mean, go to many events, you'll get those business cards. And the mistake I would say a lot of people do, myself included, is you get that business card and then it ends up on the desk in a bag and you forget about it. Cherish your friends, your family, your neighbor, the new business cards you got, put it on in an Excel sheet, send a text, say, hey, so lovely meeting you, let's catch up for coffee. Even if you don't catch up for 6 months, it's fine. And when you have an event that you think may be good, as I said, select the people to invite. It was like in the middle of the winter and she had this water kettle and she kept asking for like hot water. And I was like, oh, this is so sweet. She's probably a volunteer and giving like warm water for tea for her staff. Or she was basically the big boss and she was the one running around to bring hot water. When you see somebody that is at the top, not caring about anything, just showing that you need to be there from A to Z, this is the kind of person I want to be.
Hi guys, it's my pleasure to introduce to you Ciinderella Balthazar. She's come all the way from Belgium, just kidding, just Chelsea. She's an independent entrepreneurial artist. She's featured at over 40 gigs, launching her new album soon. She's worked on so many different brands and projects. She's founded 3 companies and we're really excited to learn more about her collaborations and what's next.
Thank you for having me, Martin.
Pleasure. Interesting story here. You've come from Belgium and you've ended up in London and we don't know where's next.
I don't know either. I'm thinking maybe Asia, maybe the US, but right now I'm very happy to be in London.
It was a hard decision coming to London. You mentioned about the language, about the culture differences, and you were considering the US. What pushed you to London, or the UK in general, over the US?
To start with, the language barrier, so I really wanted to have an international career and learn English. And I thought, well, then I should move to the UK or the US. And I thought, if ever something happened to me, the UK is closer to go back to Belgium. Also financially, it was much cheaper.
Okay, fair enough. And with the hard decision, your family, your friends, were they supportive, or did you feel that maybe you were taking a big risk?
I knew I was taking a big risk, and I knew the support wouldn't be there always. A lot of friends were like, we'll see you back in 6 months. My parents were not very supportive. They always thought music was a career B. So I had no emotional support and I had no financial support.
So starting from square one, what was your first initial step when you landed? You mentioned you lived in the outskirts of London and now slowly you've moved your way down to Chelsea, which I think is very metaphoric and very symbolic of the kind of progress that you've made. So yeah, talk us through that.
So I said financially I had no support. I had a summer job before leaving for London, and for some reason I did some shopping, I lost some money, and I came with less than £100 in my pocket, and I was like, I have no money for accommodation, what do I do? So I looked up for squats in London, and then I ended up on a website which was called Couchsurfing, where you can sleep complimentary on the couch of someone that is willing to offer you one. And you send a message, you say, I'm going to be in London from this date, how many days can you accommodate me? First person offered me a week, second person offered me 10 days. I had some very weird people, but then I ended up with an incredible person who hosted me for 3 months, found a job, was able to pay for my first deposit, which was in Palmer's Green.
What was that first job?
Bartender. Because I had no language, so I thought, what's a job that I can do? And when I was in Belgium, I did a little bit of bartending during my summer job. So that was the first one.
Do you feel the bartending helped you get into the food and beverage side of the kind of marketing that you do sometimes now?
Not at all.
No?
But what it has taught me is that you should respect anybody that works in any industry.
Okay.
I was paid on my first job £6.19 an hour.
Okay.
And my rent was about £350.
And this was in 2012. 12, okay.
So I had to work sometimes 50 hours, not just for my rent, but also having my living expenses.
Mm-hmm.
I was living in zone 4, so travel was quite expensive.
Yeah.
I would sometimes cycle from zone 4 to zone 2
Wow.
to save on money. But it just made the hustle fun in a certain way.
Yeah.
You respect so much more money in what you make.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And yeah.
So when did you decide being an artist was something that was going to work? Or did you feel that you had to spread your seeds a bit and, you know, focus a bit in fashion, a bit in food and beverage, hospitality, music on top of that? Or did that kind of talk us through that kind of journey between those sections?
I always knew I came from music.
Okay.
I went to the academy back in Belgium and studied classic piano and music theory. I love to sing. I love to write. And as I said before, I really wanted to have an international career. So Belgium is very close-minded and musical options are very limited. You enter either one category or the other. And I felt London was kind of like birth of so many music genres.
Sure.
And I just felt every time I traveled here, I loved it. I just loved how crazy people were, how open-minded they were, how you could be anyone you wanted to be.
Mm-hmm.
My first job, the reason why I also did bartender, and the place I chose it because on Thursday night there was a jam. So I knew that working in a place where I could be jamming every Thursday, I would be meeting other musicians. All the bartenders hired in this venue were musicians as well. And
did you see progress for them? Did you feel that they were moving up? When you arrived, did you kind of replace someone, or what was the cycle like?
People come and go. You have a lot of people who come in London that are not from the UK.
Okay.
So some have dreams, some can't be bothered with the weather, can't be bothered with the wage that you get paid, how expensive the rent is. So a lot of people come and go.
Okay.
I knew that playing there, I would meet other musicians and know about other venue where I could go play.
Okay.
I learned that there was a music competition. So I registered myself. I asked all my colleagues to try it out. Nobody did it. It's like the amount of people who have a dreams, but the amount of people who are actually putting efforts in a dream, there's a huge difference. And the amount of people who start a dream and then give up. So there are a lot of factors that lead you to success, and then again, what's success?
Yeah.
I knew that I just wanted to keep playing and have enough money to just be sustainable.
Yeah.
So I did a competition. I went into national finals.
Wow.
And I ended up in the top 15.
What was the genre of music that you were focusing on then?
Acoustic soul.
Acoustic soul. We've heard some of your covers on YouTube, so I might have to share some of those. Do you still so with the focus being offline mainly on those mic nights, and you got into the finals, did you feel then there was a transition for online, or did you feel online was always going to be something that's kind of everyone's doing it? It's a matter of who makes the effort offline in audiences, live events. What's your...
So I was already on Facebook, and I used to be in an event committee back in my high school. So we used Facebook to promote our events and make sure people would come to our events. So I thought, obviously the competition, people vote for you. And they can vote online and during the competition. So I needed to have a lot of votes to enter every stage. Started creating my Facebook page, my Twitter page, Reverb Nation, MySpace. Every single channel I could think of, I put my name on.
Who is pushing you to do that? I mean, you mentioned there was not much support from back home. I assume they never came. Did they come to visit, to watch you live at these mic nights? Did they see the progress, the baby steps, or did they just start coming as of the finals?
My mother came, maybe after a year. She was always like, she supported me a little bit more because she used to rap and sing.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Do you have any footage of that?
I probably have like an old recording of her
wow.
rapping, and I have some of her lyrics that kind of stole from her book.
I love French hip hop. Like, it's one of my guilty pleasures because I don't understand the lyrics, but I still listen to it because of the melody.
The
and
song, right?
Yeah.
I was born listening to rap music, going to breakdance competition in the street. My brothers and I learned breakdance on the street with her friends. The whole culture of music came from there. Like, it was first street culture, and then thanks to, I'll say, my parents' position, who were not really wealthy, we got benefits, and I got into the music academy.
Okay. Which part of Belgium was that in? Is there still that music culture, street music culture, breakdancing when you go back, or?
No, it's a bit different. Well, I still have a lot of friends, kind of, it doesn't sound great, like urban friends.
Okay.
No, it's more like, and they call me kind of like the street princess.
Okay.
It's like I'm moving my way up, but you never forget your roots.
Of course.
Never ever.
Of course. Do you think going to France would have been also like a valid option at that point? Because, you know, you mentioned that there was the French language was a strong factor, but then London offered something more, and you did reach the final, which was fantastic. But building up to that, did it ever cross your mind that Paris might have been another?
No. Because I'm mixed race, half Moroccan, half Chilean. A lot of Arabs artists are seen as R&B singers, and I was always like kind of classified. I had to look for it, so people were expecting me to sing that. There is not really an opening a door for the kind of music I do. Maybe a bit of soul, but you don't really have French soul. Okay. It's not really a thing, and I'm more into soul, folk. My influences are, well, it's a mix. It's basically Janis Joplin, Nina Simone, more modern. I love Ben Howard for his guitar skills. I love Mercedes Sosa from a Chilean side, or Kulthum, which is the voice of the Arabic world. But it doesn't really go into R&B or French R&B.
Do you have any guilty pleasures when it comes to music, like reggaeton?
Emo rock. Is that right?
Yeah. Okay.
No, I dated a metal singer, so I kind of like metal.
Sure. Okay.
On the side, this is my guilty pleasure.
Okay.
Sometimes I listen a bit to commercial pop.
Okay.
It's kind of uplifting, and it's just, you need to know what's happening in the industry.
Okay. And then after the finals, going back to the finals, what happened after that?
So I was in the 15 last one, and the judges were from like big labels such as Universal, Warner, and I failed my performance. I was very nervous. I wrote a song and I didn't rehearse properly. Like, my first performance during the competition, I smashed it. I was confident, I worked it, but the last one, maybe I was too overconfident, and on the day I messed it up. And I felt very sad. And then I had one of the judges who came to me and said, "You're very talented, but you need to work harder. Because talent only brings you so far, and hard work makes a difference." I went back to my job as a bartender. I kept doing more gigs, and I was like, I really want to go to the next stage. So I decided to enter the competition again.
The next year?
The next year.
Okay.
So Open Mic UK is a singer-songwriter competition. It's mostly on YouTube, not on TV. People have to vote and like on your videos. You try to sell tickets, like any other competition.
Yeah.
But the judges are incredible. As I said, it's like basically scouts from all the big labels. Some people from the company will recruit you to go to Got Britain's Talent and X Factor. I was not interested. I did do X Factor auditions my first year in London.
Yeah.
Because you dream big. You come, you think it's the real deal. And then the more you grow as an artist or as a person, the more you also know what you like. It's like going to the supermarket. In the beginning, you buy everything that has a big deal on, and then you kind of realize that, oh, maybe I like more organic fruits, maybe I like this a bit more.
So then, what was the difference in the routine? What would you say the main factors were? Because you mentioned hard work,
and that's a given. So the competition is working harder, and then you think that the talent brought you that far, but then that extra step to put yourself beyond them would have been to work harder. But you're already working hard on your bartender job. So what was the different approach you took that time compared to the previous year?
I started looking for jobs that would pay me more than $6.19 an hour.
Of course, yeah.
I discovered promo work.
Mm-hmm.
When you're a brand ambassador, basically the girl that gives you free Coca-Cola at the station.
I see, okay.
So I moved from £6.19 an hour to £10 an hour.
Okay.
And it gave me more flexibility. I was not as exhausted from the bartending job.
Mm-hmm.
And a last straw was being a bartender is surrounded by alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're young, or old really, alcohol is a temptation.
Mm-hmm.
And when things don't go all the time, you just have a drink. But you kind of at work at every night, and having one drink every night does have a toll on your body.
Okay.
Also lifting up cases of drinks to fill up the fridges, serving a lot of people. It's an environment where people get drunk and don't always respect your boundaries.
Of course, okay.
So there were too many small incidents who started taking a toll on my mind and on my body. And one day I'm lifting this box of soft drinks and my back hurts.
Okay.
And I'm like, I'm 22 and my back is hurting. What am I doing?
Yeah.
I'm too tired to go for gigs. Let me get another job where I have more flexibility.
Okay.
My priority was always, I'm doing this for the music. This funds what I do.
Okay.
I started working with more musicians, like a guitarist, a drummer, started doing more band gigs.
Okay.
It was always Ciinderella B and then
Sure.
and the band.
Okay.
I was very strong about that because I was writing my own songs.
So was that more for the claim of the songs, or was it more because of your personal brand and you wanted to stand out and be an independent artist eventually? I mean, what was the...
Both.
Both, okay.
Completely both.
Okay.
So I had some clashes with musicians.
Okay.
But, you have your ego as a musician. It goes sometimes well, sometimes not.
It's business, yeah.
It's business.
Yeah.
And being together, as well in a band, you divide the task of your social media.
I see, okay.
So no matter what it was about, I was always on socials. Any gig I had, I would invite my friend, tag them. I was always discovering the way of pushing your social
Okay.
more. I shared a lot of videos on YouTube. And eventually, when I did the second time, I ended up again in the last 15 one, and then I ended up in the last 5th.
Okay.
On 10,000 participants.
Wow.
And at that time, I had 2 of my musicians. We worked so hard for it. And we thought we'd be in the top 3. And we had the 3 winners coming to us, and they were like, we don't understand. Your results haven't moved from since you were in the top 5 to the end results. And we realized that I send the wrong code to people to vote.
Oh my God.
But everything is meant to be.
Yeah.
So none of those 3 winners at the time are still in music today.
Okay.
So people do competitions the first time. Like, small example, when I did a competition the first time, nobody who did it the first time entered it the second time.
I see, okay.
I did not want one failure to stop me. I was like, you know what went wrong? What can I do better? And it went better. I went from being in the top 15 to the top 5th. I made a small mistake of sending the wrong code. But the amount of contacts I made, the amount of musicians I got to meet, and at that time, it was the second year I was doing it. So second year, I was pushing on my socials for the competition. So I learned from my mistakes from the year before. Started adding all the judges on their Twitters,
Okay.
Facebooks, LinkedIn. Kind of like stalking mode.
Sure.
But just so that my name will be in the back of their mind.
Yeah. And it works.
And it worked.
Yeah.
I was having a better job,
Okay.
paid better. And then I started only accepting jobs which were in more like luxury area, because I knew that if I wanted to find somebody that would invest in my music, I wouldn't find many of them in Shoreditch or Camden or Dalston. Like, it's nice to have a pub. Sometimes you'll meet someone, but the higher probability of having someone who has money to invest in you is in rich areas. So I took a job. One of my jobs was concession manager at Selfridges. for a Christmas brand. So I was personalizing Christmas bubbles. You will come to me and be like, can I have my name on a Christmas bubble? Sure, here we go, £18. And I was paid £12 an hour. And then the amount of people I was talking to, I had an offer to be in a modeling agency. I got some business cards, just people, you talk with them, they like you exchange details. And then I got to meet somebody. I was like, hey, do you want to go to a club afterwards? We are going to Mayfair. Got to meet a music producer there.
Wow. So it's really almost not coincidence, but sometimes when you really push the boundaries and you take those extra steps, it's almost meant to happen. You're saying it's you're bound to meet someone, and you're talking more about the habits. So the goal hasn't changed, but the way you're going about achieving the goal has changed. You're setting smaller targets, and the social media strategy wasn't enough. So you started collecting business cards offline, and then you started consolidating who you're following online with who you've got in touch with offline, and you start targeting them, and you start not harassing them, but you start almost, targeting them with your content and your name, so it's always in the back of their minds. And what was the outcome of that in the end? It's like, as in obviously now you're in a really strong position, but when was it really starting to accumulate into a snowball effect?
When I took a break.
You took a break, okay. Holiday.
So I mentioned I was working at Selfridges, and I was invited to a Mayfair club, and I realized that being a guest in Mayfair, somebody was making money on my head.
Right.
Through guest lists. And I was like, oh, I can make more money than in Selfridges, which means I can invest more money in my music.
Of course.
Let me do this job. In addition, this is where I'll get more contact, because partying is the best for networking.
Yeah.
And I will be more in touch. Like, people get bored when you continuously invite them to the same thing. There is a misconception that you have to invite your same friend over and over to your gigs. They'll come the first gig, they'll come the second one, maybe the third one, but they won't come 10 times.
It's repetitive.
People they've listened to your music once, they won't go 10 times. So you need to divide your network, the people you know. Let's say on this gig I'll invite 20 people I know. Next time I'll invite 20 people from work. Next time I invite some of my neighbors, and mix it up. You're also making it feel more exclusive, because they'll come to one event, and then they'll see you had another event but you didn't invite them.
Okay.
So they'll be like, oh, you didn't invite me? But if I invite you 10 times, you think you have too much choice, and you'll be like, next time, and the next time never happens.
So you're cherry picking the event to the people that you invite, rather than just carpet bombing your whole contact list.
Yes.
And that was a strategic choice. Okay, wow.
And I did the same for when I was working then in Mayfair and Chelsea nights, where I founded a company, Kings and Queens Guest List, which was a concierge service and a guest list company.
And so you focused on music, then you started this company. That was your first official business project.
Kind of, yeah.
How did that go?
Well, it was tiring.
Okay.
And in my mind, I loved going to clubs because the speakers in clubs are incredible. It's always linked in a certain way to music. I would go to those nights and I would observe the DJ. Sometimes they would have artists playing live, and I was like, I want to be playing there, but I'm not at a level yet. So the only thing I can do is just work more and write more.
What made them stand out against you, in your opinion, at that time? What did they have that you didn't?
English,
Okay.
music skills, a team, an image. I felt I had so much more to learn.
Okay.
And I still didn't know what and who I was.
Okay.
I was still discovering my whole artist identity. And one of those nights, helping with Kings and Queens, helping another company for their guest list, we ending up at a casino for an after party drinks, because casinos are open 24 hours in London. And I'm meeting a friend of mine, is a sound engineer, also working as a promoter for nightclubs. And he goes for a cigarette on the balcony, and I'm ordering a drink at the bar. And he comes and he's like, Ciinderella, you need to come outside. So I don't have a cigarette, I'm too broke. And he was like, no, you have to come. I say, okay, I'll come. And he introduced me to this guy. And he offered us a cigarette. So I was like, great. And the first thing he tells me is like, are you a model? I'm like, no. Yeah, you're too small to be a model anyway. And I'm like, in the back of my mind, it's like, what a rude person.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know what? I've worked really, really hard today.
Yeah.
This is like, it was a really, really bad night because we had nobody turning up.
Oh wow.
So I'm like, I need a drink and I don't need someone that is rude to me to ruin my night even more.
Okay.
Let me just talk to him and like see why he's so rude.
Yeah.
And we end up talking, and this guy is a film director.
Okay.
And his name is Anirin. And he ended up being very interesting and then started being more nice.
Okay.
And he asked me, what do you do? And I say, I'm a singer-songwriter. And this is the way I've always introduced myself. I never said, I'm a bartender.
A CEO of a Kings and Queens.
Yes, I'm working at Selvishes. I always introduced myself as a singer-songwriter.
So at that time, you were a singer-songwriter, you were a CEO of Kings and Queens Concierge, and you were also still working in Selfridges.
No, Selfridges was already gone.
Already gone that time.
Yeah,
So you had two major things going on there. So already starting to kind of see stepping stone towards managing multiple things simultaneously. All right, okay. And how is Kings and Queens doing now? What is it?
Oh, we sold
You sold
the database. It was just too much hassle to chase after invoices.
Yeah.
Like nightlife can be a bit of a hustle. It was a fun time. I loved it.
Yeah.
I've made so many contacts that everything happens for a reason.
Sure.
But you also have to know, why am I doing this? I knew that I love being in clubs because of the music.
Okay.
But I also knew that clubs are an incredible place to promote your music. And if you know the managers, and if you work for them, and if you know the owners of the venues and the staff, the day your music is out and the day you need a venue to promote it, because you've worked for them, you'll have a discount, or you may even have the venue for free.
Mm-hmm.
And even today, I still know a lot of managers and promoters from clubs in London.
So leveraging from past favours is something that really puts businesses... Okay. And then what was your thought? Because obviously you came initially to London, just to backtrack now, English was a struggle, you weren't sure if you made the right choice, not much support from home, you explored with the music, songwriting, and you pushed hard on that. Then you started your own business and then eventually went on to sell it. But then what did you learn from a leadership point of view? What did you learn about yourself that made you think, well, if I can start a business, if I can... Like, what was what was going through your minds?
I always felt different from a lot of musicians.
Mm-hmm.
Where a lot of musicians only put their time in their crafts. People have this, I think, myth on musicians that are too proud to put time in social media, too proud of seeing their music as a business project.
Yeah.
And I saw so many musicians who, they gave everything in their music, but then as soon as they would make a little bit of money, they would spend it drinking with their buddies.
Okay.
They'd be smoking whatever or partying and do whatever drugs, and then they'd be complaining that they didn't have money to pay the rent.
Yeah.
Or not enough money to pay for the studio, or they would turn up late for a rehearsal session.
Mm-hmm.
It has happened to me.
Yeah.
I started partying like everybody else when you come to London.
Yeah.
It's an incredible partying city.
Yeah.
But I hated that. I hated when I was late. I hated when people were late. I hated when I couldn't sing because the alcohol or having smoked a cigarette would ruin my voice.
Of course.
And I was like, what is the next stage? And I've always loved being into like creating projects. And then I realized that I was basically also a businesswoman.
Okay.
And
responsibility.
And something in me clicked, and I realized I was an entrepreneurial artist.
Okay.
And once I accepted it, I was like, okay, let's create stuff. Let's push the boundaries of what I can do.
Wow.
And I love it. It's just fun. And you realize they're not... I was like, okay, who can I get inspiration from? And I didn't find many people. But when you look at all the people at the top in terms of musicians, singers, songwriters, models, they are all business people. they all start side brands,
Yeah.
side businesses. Some of them had businesses even earlier. It was
Okay.
just not publicized.
Okay. See, I didn't know that. So a lot of artists, do you have any examples that some artists would start their business projects whilst they're still young in their careers, as opposed to leveraging on their personal brand and then starting it later? Which I guess both cases work, but then could you talk us through kind of the...
I'm trying to find like a immediate template example, but may not have one from someone that created a business early on. I'll take more an example of someone who is already very established. Rihanna, when she started her beauty brand.
Okay.
She always had an interest in makeup.
Okay.
Before she was doing her own makeup, she was doing makeup tutorials, and then she started her brand about 1 or 2 years ago without doing collaboration with somebody else. She saw the potential of her social media marketing to launch a product on her own.
Now here's an interesting question. If Rihanna was to start from zero today, could she still make it, do you think?
100%.
What puts her apart as a businesswoman and singer-songwriter or entrepreneurial artist, as you mentioned?
I would scrap Rihanna. I would use if a girl from the beginning, or a boy 17 years old, because she was 17 when she basically made it happen, decided to start from scratch, could he or she make it? I would say 100%.
Today, in this competitive...
Yes.
Yeah.
It's all about of what do you want to do? Why do you want to do it?
Okay.
Where do you see yourself? Do you want to be happy? Do you want fame? Do you want money? Do you want to bring something to the world? Do you want to inspire? Do you want to be inspired?
Okay.
So I'll be like, put your goal on a sheet and see what other people have done what you want to do.
Okay.
If nobody has done it, try to find a mentor. If somebody has done it, analyze what they've been doing.
Okay.
And do it. And every day we get new tools, whether those are from technology, whether they're from social media. We have so many tools, and we're in a world where internet is accessible from almost everywhere.
Okay. Who was your inspiration then when you're looking inwards to see where you can deliver the most value to everyone? Who was your key inspiration, or maybe you had a few you picked them?
I picked them. I love the story of Nina Simone, because she came from a very difficult background.
You related to that?
I related. Maybe also the classically trained person wanting to do this, but people don't really want to see that part. I was put in a category of R&B singer, but I didn't want to be doing that.
Okay.
I'm not from a very wealthy background, not wealthy at all. So I didn't really have that much support, but I just love the fact that if someone really believes in what they do, they can make it happen.
Sure.
And it's just about failing until you succeed. Because every failure is a lesson.
Of course. When Kings and Queens was sold, how did you feel? Did you feel a sense of emptiness that you built something for so long and sold it? Or did you already have in mind what you wanted to do next?
I was a bit sad because it was fun.
Okay.
And I thought I had this, I say, master plan, empire idea.
Okay.
I guess every entrepreneur can be a little bit of a megaloman.
But how important do you think it is to dream then, in that sense? To dream about that empire, to dream about...
It's so important.
It's so important.
I'm very careful with who would share my ideas.
Okay.
And sometimes even the closest people can be very negative. And then we'll pick up a fight. I'll be like, why don't you see the positivity out of it? If you're not positive, it's not being about being an utopist.
Okay.
It's about dreaming and doing everything to make that dream a goal. And sometimes things happen, sometimes not. But if you don't try and say, this is not going to happen, of course it's not. Because you're not even trying.
Sure.
But if you try everything, along the journey, you're going to learn so much. And the journey is best. If you don't enjoy the journey, don't even start. Don't even have a goal, because it's worthless.
Okay. And with regards to sharing the ideas, sharing with people that are going to be positive and constructive, who did you share yours with?
My mentors.
Mentors, okay.
My partner.
Okay.
And maybe my best friend.
Okay.
but nobody else.
Okay. So it's not a matter of them kind of stealing the idea, because.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
People steal,
Yeah,
or
yeah.
people get inspired. They copy and they're like, you were an inspiration.
Okay.
But even if you're already established as a business, you still have the risk of having a huge company stealing from you.
I see. Okay.
So, one, I'm not sharing because yes, I'm paranoid that somebody would steal my
Okay.
idea. Two, I also think they're too good to be told. Again, it's the megaloman
Yeah.
mind behind every entrepreneur.
I guess for me, it's hard because if someone's not put the work in, how can they be so quick to judge the small details unless they've been through it? So I guess that's why you chose someone like mentors who's been there, done that, and they can talk with the benefit of hindsight and the ups and
Yes.
downs. I see. Okay. And then with the next steps, do you have that long-term picture? So when you decided to sell the company, did you have that long-term picture of what you want to do next? Or
Before selling it or after selling
before
it?
selling it?
Before selling it, I had this picture in mind of what I wanted it to be. Now, with the businesses I'm doing, it's still in the back of my mind.
Sure.
If after selling it, I always made sure that the database was still mine,
Okay.
because database is important.
So just
And
with
the
touch-
idea will never be completely gone. I can always start it again in the future if I feel it's needed.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
But just to touch on that topic of database, and we live in an age of big data, how important is data to you? I mean, are you a very data-driven entrepreneurial artist? Or do you feel that data is overrated, and if you dissect it too much, you can end up going in circles?
yeah, I think there is a lot of data that is being taken out of you or that people want that I don't see any interest in. For me,
Okay.
data means I need your name, I need your social handle, I need your email and your phone number.
Okay,
That's all.
okay,
That's the most important data I need from people.
sure. And in terms of going into their habits and the activities and what they're following, their trends, what they're thinking, what they're doing, you know, these typical marketing templates that you get.
I don't follow them.
No?
I
Okay.
think, like, I don't believe in trends. I don't believe in targeted commercials. I hate it when I visit a shopping website because I want a dress.
Mhm.
And then I go on my Facebook or any of my social and I see this advertisement for the website I just went.
Yeah.
I just had an idea, would go look on the website. I didn't buy the dress because I was not that interested, or maybe I was interested and I bought it. And then I'm getting more publicity thrown to my face.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? If I want to buy something, I'll go. I don't need you to throw it at my face.
Yeah.
I don't need to collect what I do. I know what I like. But I'm guessing maybe I'm not the right customer for
Right.
those database campaigns.
Okay.
And I don't get really affected to it. I'm just like deleting. And in the back of my mind, it may affect me, but I just hate it. I'm like, and if I hate it, I'm sure that a lot of people do too. And it's going to have a big backlash.
Mm-hmm. So you feel more with the kind of written feedbacks and interactions and qualitative reports and information that seems to be more useful for you, and especially because you mentioned you like to get stuck in and really be in the nitty-gritty side of it, speaking to consumers, hearing them. How important is social listening for you?
Sorry, can you repeat?
So-
I didn't understand last.
The social listening. So you mentioned maybe going to different exhibitions, different. You're a brand ambassador.
Yes.
So you're always listening to what people were saying about the brands
Yeah.
as you're giving them the product. Then when you started going to more concerts and taking a more leadership role, how important was it still to maintain that rapport with the final consumer, with the...
I think a one-on-one connect is so important. I admire entrepreneurs, a boss that knows how his company runs from A to Z.
Okay.
Let's talk about hospitality, and
Sure.
you have a restaurant and you're the owner of the restaurant. You know how to clean the floor, you know
Okay.
how to clean the toilet, you know how to serve a pint.
Okay.
If you have in
Sure.
the kitchen, you know how to do like this, the basics.
Yeah.
Like obviously you're gonna hire a chef for if you have like this kind of really fancy menu, but you should know everything. You know how to run the accounts, you should be able to train everybody.
Sure.
And I love when I see a boss going to talk with customers, going to talk with the security guys, going to talk with the new bartender that just arrived, not telling him he's the boss, but just like, how are you feeling today? Do you want a bit of water?
Yeah.
I love that. I was one day on a film set, and this lady had this yellow jacket, security jacket. She was so tiny, and she had this, it was like in the middle of the winter, and she had this water kettle. And she kept asking for like hot water. And I was like, oh, this is so sweet. She's probably a volunteer and giving like warm water for tea for her staff. Or like apparently there was this actor from Games of Thrones.
Okay.
Well, Charles Danes. I said
Sure.
apparently. Film director, very big celebrity photographer. And I thought, that's so sweet. I mean, like, oh, I'll ask if she wants a drink, you know, like, do you want a drink? Nobody's going to see it. Because I was a bartender at that time. That was one of my...
early days.
Yeah. And then they finished everything, and our bar was offering them a few drinks. And we were kind of celebrating the birthday of our bar manager.
Okay.
Everybody was getting drunk, and I see the lady again, and we have some really nice music, and like, come dance with me.
Yeah.
And she started dancing with me, and then I see that old gentleman on the side smiling at us. I'm like, come, a bit drunk, come dance with me too.
Yeah.
I've learned that the lady that was dancing with me was basically the producer of the whole movie.
Wow.
She, Stephanie Bambet, I think,
In
she
disguise.
produced X-Men.
Oh wow.
She was basically the big boss, and she was the one running around to bring hot water so that everybody would have like a tea, warm tea. And that for me is so important. When you see somebody that is at the top, not caring about anything, just showing that you need to be there from A to Z. This is the kind of person I want to be.
Okay. So that's, as a leader, that's the kind of... Okay. And then with understanding what the... Like really getting to the beginning of the story with new trends, with consumers, and maybe if there's a new type of music, you know, a new trend in the music industry, a new genre, or sub-genre, as they call it now. How important, or how do you find that out now that you're kind of taking on more engagement, more responsibility? How do you focus your time with each individual?
For music?
Yeah, for music.
So I got signed to a publishing label about 3.5 years ago, just before I founded Kings and Queens.
Okay.
So I got an advance, and my money was all invested in music. The financial relief I got from it, leaving my job at Selfridges, it created a space of time where I could just write, but then I had too much time on my hands. And this is where I had the freedom to create a company.
Okay.
And still today, I keep writing, I still have time to create new things, and you fulfill each other. When I spend too much on music, I have enough of it. Ask any musician, you get bored. When you make money from something you love, you need some time off. So having a side hobby is incredible. Let's say my business side is a kind of a hobby, and you just fulfill each other. So 3 years ago, I signed, and I'm now currently working on my debut single.
And that's going to be released
in November.
Right.
So any income basically I make is always for the music. Any business I have is a kind of relief for all basically the stress or the frustration I have with the music. It complements each other. As a human beings, we're not just one entity. We have so many different parts. We're not just everyday happy. We have different feelings. We have different likes and dislikes.
And with regards to the music side of things, do you feel that the business side of it financially helps you prosper as a musician, because then you can afford to have the best equipment to practice on, and you mentioned your instruments briefly. Do you think that you're ever going to go down the business route specifically in music, or do you still think that fashion is going to be a main driver for the business side?
So my last company is called Ciinderella Balthazar Ltd. So I decided to register my name so that I could have my other companies as umbrellas.
Okay.
Which means the company is me, whatever I do are sides of me.
Okay.
My company is registered as a publishing company, recording studio and media company.
Okay.
So it can both include my journal, the Balthazar journal, which talks about beauty, fashion, and food, and which will include in the future a music part. And my name is an artist, and releasing my single as a independent.
Okay.
So it's always linked to each other. It's obviously I will be using the company to invest in more material, more production. It just goes together. Any finances I make from my social media channels is also under the company. It all goes together.
Right. Now I just want to go into more about you, your daily routines. What makes you, what do you do on a daily basis that helps you get to where you want to be in 3 years, 5 years, 20 years, 50 years, whatever it may be? What do you do on a daily basis right now that you feel makes you the best person you can be?
I try to wake up early, around 6 or 7 in the morning.
Cool.
I try to go for a 30-minute run. Don't go every day. I've been trying to do my 30-day running challenge. I failed twice.
Okay.
But I do run more regularly than before.
Sure.
So running is not just because you want to be fit. It's also because it releases endorphins in the morning.
Okay.
And you feel like you can take the world on.
Sure.
And again, linked to music, the more you run, the more my breathing gets better, which helps me to sing.
Of course.
And that's one. So I'll go for a run, and then when I come back, I'll have porridge
Okay.
with banana and then fruit on, because it's so nice.
Lovely. Yeah.
I never get enough of porridge.
Wow.
I think this is my discovery of the UK.
Okay.
And I slowly changed my eating habits. So more healthy,
Sure.
more organic. Once I have my porridge, I'll go for a shower, and then I see, okay, today I'll be working on my emails. Today I'll be working on my music. Today I'm gonna be going to a social event. So my days are separated. I try to be very organized with what I do. I also support myself. Like I think it's nice to be healthy. It's nice to thrive, but you need to realize that happiness is not the end of the goal. Happiness is just in front of you.
Okay.
So I love reading comics.
Sure.
And if when I have enough,
Yeah.
I'll just take my computer, go on the sofa, make sure I have a pack of Haribo of crisp or hummus, and then I'll open one of my websites and I'll just start reading mangas or
Okay.
comics.
What's your favorite?
I have many. I love one-shots and horror stories. And then I'll read something more positive, because if you watch or read something about horror, you're putting your mindset in a negative, like you're getting negative energies from it. So I would probably read a quick horror story, and then I'll read a quick
Comedy or love story?
comedy, and then I'll watch maybe a quick 20 minutes episode on Netflix from Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Yeah, that's your favorite?
I love it. I think this series, just as I said, happiness is just next to you.
Sure.
I think they've created an environment where they have their worries, everyday worries, and then they have their everyday happiness.
Would you ever go into acting?
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Great. And if I was to ask you at this moment in time, what's your, after everything you've been through, kind of like you didn't know you're gonna, like how far you're gonna come, and you've still got so much to go, you've got so many plans, what's your biggest fear?
I'm scared of not being happy.
Okay.
I'm scared that if everything goes well, that I will forget about what was really meaningful to me.
Okay. And you think that London is the final destination?
No.
No.
London is an investment destination.
Okay. And with regards to your music, we're already expecting a new single. Do you have like a plan of how many albums you want to release, or do you have like a specific target?
I want to release, so this is going to be my debut album.
Okay.
So I've been releasing before mostly YouTube videos, and then when I got signed, they got all taken off because it's all for copyright reasons. And my debut single will be released in November, and then the idea is to have a single being released every 4 months.
Okay.
And then in 1 year, to 1.5 years having my debut album.
So you've got a structure behind it.
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. And then with the social media side of things, do you think that's going to continue supporting brands, collaborating?
I funds the music area.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And it's not just short term. You may think, oh, I'm getting money from posting that one picture. But I think about, you know what, this brand, I loved working with them. They're so relevant to me. When I'm organizing my debut single party, they may become the sponsor of the party.
Mm-hmm. So the contacts are also important.
Exactly. It's, you think long term. Anything you do, my biggest recommendation would be think long term, not short term. Instead of, if you really want something, don't beg the person and just think, oh, whatever, if I have it now, it's great. No. Don't ask this time. Let it go and invite a person for a coffee. Don't ask this person, if it's a brand, don't ask the person, hey, do you want to sponsor me? I'll be like, well, you know what, I think long term with you, let's go for a coffee. Let's get to know each other.
I think I can hear people around the world scribbling notes. What would you say are the top 3 tips for relationship building? Because it seems like that's your superpower. That's what makes you stand out from everyone else.
Break the mask.
Break the mask.
Everybody wears a mask.
Yeah.
When you meet somebody at a bar, when you meet somebody at a party, when you meet somebody at an event, we get ready at home, think with a mindset, be like, okay, today I'm going to this party because my friend is playing. Today I'm going to this party because I want to get that contact. Today I'm going to this party because I really fancy this girl.
Okay.
You go there with a mindset, and that mindset is your mask. It's not who you really are.
Okay.
So my number 1 is take that mask off. Whether you the person wearing the mask or whether the other person. So my number 1 is like, break it.
And is that linked to the fact that it's important to be happy, and if you go with an agenda and you don't meet it, you might come back disappointed? Is that okay?
The second one will be cherish the relationships you have. It's easy to have a business card. I mean, go to many events, you'll get those business cards. And the mistake, I would say a lot of people do, myself included, is you get that business card and then it ends up on the desk in a bag and you forget about it. Cherish your friends, your family, your neighbor, the new business cards you got, put it on in an Excel sheet, send a text, say, hey, so lovely meeting you, let's catch up for coffee. Even if you don't catch up for 6 months, it's fine. Let's send an email, hey, it was so lovely meeting you, hope we can meet soon. And when you have an event that you think may be good, as I said, select the people to invite. But I would really recommend create that Excel sheet. There's an amazing example of this producer, musician, Ryan something, and Ryan really wanted to make it in the hip-hop world. And he was proposed a deal by labels and he had a low background. And he read the contract and was like, this is shit. I'm never signing this. Labels are terrible. So he went to see his mentor and he was like, man, I don't know what to do. It's like, labels are not offering good deals. So his mentor told him, go gig. Go do loads of free gigs. And after your gig, go talk to people and get their numbers. No need for their social media, Facebook, Instagram. No need for their emails. Just get their numbers.
How long ago was this?
I don't know how long ago. For a few years. I'll give you some more details. It's just a story that was told to me, so I didn't check it either, but I thought the moral of the story was incredible. And the dude gigs, get numbers, and he ends up collecting 15,000 numbers after 1 year.
15,000. So
he goes to his mentor and he's like, I got those numbers. And his mentor's like, what? 15,000? How? Well, and he's like, okay, now go back to each city you've been gigging. Organize like a gig and contact those people. Say, hey, I'm going in town. What would you like to do? Do you want to go for coffee? Do you want to go for lunch? Do you want to see me gig? And he had several answers, and he would then organize dinners with people and ask them to pay maybe £20 and create a deal with the restaurant. So he would make money from catching up with people. And then he would do a gig and he asked people, how much are you willing to pay to see me gig? And then some people were like, oh, actually, I have a conference. Would you like to speak? I really like the way you were talking at the event. And he releases music at the same time. So 15,000 numbers. Let's say 15,000 streams on Spotify. You know how much money that is? About £250.
Okay.
So
and that's not assuming the fact that they haven't shared it.
Yeah.
Like
I actually forgot a detail. So 15,000 people listening to your Spotify. Usually, the average of person will listen to 3 to 4 songs.
Okay.
So we can think about having 40 to 50,000 streams. That's about £250.
Okay, I see.
From contacting all those 15,000 people, like a lot of people never answered him. They were like, well, who's this weirdo who still got my number, whatever. He made over 2 million in 1 year. Just because of the numbers.
From Spotify or multiple streams?
No. Spotify, he only made 250 a month.
Yeah, a month, okay.
He made in 1 year 2 million because of that network, by cherishing those numbers, by saying, hey, I want to catch up. You can make so much money from silly things, but money is not the end goal.
Yeah.
But it just shows you that this person invested a whole year
of free gigs
or creating a network, and then he monetized that network.
And more importantly, he took the time and was genuine. He took the mask off.
Yeah.
So combining everything, okay, I see. So he went in there kind of innocent, not naive, but like quite ignorant, not knowing why he's doing all this. Came back with 15,000 numbers. His mentor told him, okay, now this is the next step. So without that agenda, he was actually better off. Okay.
Maybe he kind of knew, you know,
kind of sussed it out,
that if you get numbers, you always think, oh, maybe this guy or girl are going to come to my gig.
You start spotting patterns. And okay. So that's kind of a good bedtime story.
So number 2, cherish your network.
And build your network.
And build your network. And then...
Stay on top of it, yeah.
I'm thinking about what would be number 3. Number 3 would be like, keep believing in yourself.
Yeah.
Keep believing in your ideas and make it happen. Because I think the only person that can stop yourself is yourself.
Sure. That's true. It's all in the mind. With regards to the social media, what would you say for influencers? What's the biggest myths? Because I think there's a perception out there that a lot of influencers, if you have more than 100,000 followers or this many likes, I think they're getting rid of likes now on Instagram.
Yes, I've heard.
What are your thoughts on that, just quickly?
Well, I'm a bit sad because I kind of like to see when I know friends are liking my pictures. It's like, oh, you're liking, and then I see them in my notifications. So I go on their page and then I go like their thing. So I'll have,
But you can still like, but they can't see how many likes you have. I think that's to reduce anxiety or some sort of, there's like a agenda behind it from Instagram.
I don't really get affected by if people like my pictures. When I go back to my old post that I've archived now, I've had like, in the beginning, 20 likes, and I will always remember, oh my God, people liked 20 times. And I was like, wow. And I look at myself back and I'm like, I got excited for 20 likes. And because you will always chase after numbers.
Yeah.
So there's, I guess it's a good thing, but I don't really know. I don't really get affected anymore. But if I get 1,000 likes on a picture and on another one I get 10,000, great. But it's kind of like, I'd rather have comments, like positive comments of people that really take the time to write to me.
Or messages even. Yeah. Like, okay. And do you think virality, so tagging people, sharing it, do you think they're better attributes of a healthy account than likes on their own? Because I think likes, they take like less than a second. So it could just be someone sweeping through and trying to get attention.
Yeah, I did that.
Yeah.
In the beginning when I was growing, I would literally just like people's picture without even reading or looking. I was just like...
Okay. So it's lost its value, actually. That heart has lost its value.
I guess so.
So now we're really focusing on the true KPIs, which is the bookmark, sharing, tagging. So, okay.
I don't really understand... I understand the arguments wanting to delete the likes. Apparently for health issues that people actually really get affected. This is something that's kind of...
new.
Not new, but alienated. Like I feel very strange about it because it never affected me.
So, okay.
I never cared about, or would never feel sad because people are like, oh, I only have like 20 likes on it.
So that's kind of a message to say that people shouldn't really focus on themselves compared to others, but rather like the actual quality, so the comments, and so for you it never affected you because you knew that was never the most important thing. Okay.
No.
What are the other kind of myths? I mean, I think people think that people love collecting likes, but that's clearly not true. What else is kind of, would you say?
I think the myths are how, or well, you know about the expression "fake it until you make it."
Okay.
A lot of people I'm constantly surrounded by social media celebrities, artists, even celebrities in general.
Sure.
People think they're all wealthy. I've worked with big producers in their time who are not that wealthy anymore. They used to. I think there's a lot of image that's been thrown at the public, and the public only see one side of the story.
I see.
That it's so easy to just do one post with a product and be paid $1,000 for it.
Okay.
Being in that industry, I know for sure that when I go to a fashion show, probably half of the people in front row are not as wealthy as they seem to be.
Okay.
That people struggle to have deals happening. It can go well one month. It's such an uncertain parallel.
Yeah. There's no.
And there's so much hard work behind. It's not. The myth of a picture $1,000 is that you spend a whole week, maybe 2 weeks, emailing back and forth with a brand to have the deal done. Once the deal is done, you have to sign the contract. Once the contract is signed, it says you'll be paid maybe in 30 days because as a company, you have an invoice to send. Then you have a deadline or you're scheduling the post. So if it's just a selfie for some people or if it's a proper editorial, so you'll hire a photographer, you'll hire a stylist if you work with a stylist, or you'll do a collaboration with a stylist.
Yeah.
You look for a venue, so you'll go location scouting.
Okay.
Then you're doing the shoot, then you'll spend another extra hours to edit the picture. And then you have to send that content for approval to the brand. When the brand approves it, you write your caption, you share it. Then you spend another hour just to answer back comments because you want to be active, engaging.
Yeah.
You want your followers / customers enjoy the experience of having this image sent to them.
Basically, there's a lot of work that goes into it.
And some brands will ask for a report after. They want to know how much your posts reach out. Now, if you're a big celebrity, you probably have a team doing it for you.
Outsource it, yeah.
But it's still a hard work, and people tend to forget that there may be a whole team behind a single shot. Let's say Kim Kardashian is showing their shampoo. Do you really think she's going to be emailing herself the brand? Her team is probably sending back and forth emails and then saying, hey Kim, are you happy to promote this? This is the money is going to be put. Let's do that shot. Sending the report to the brand. And this is the biggest myth, that one picture cash.
Have you made any mistakes? I wouldn't call mistakes, like learnings as you were starting and you thought maybe I didn't include this in the deal, or maybe something backfired? What's the key thing that you don't want to leave out in that?
Licensing my image.
Licensing your image to be reused. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I put a clause that they can use the image only for 12 months.
Okay.
When I started, I did just like gifting collaborations. And now you have that little shop tag that you can add on your Instagram.
Yeah.
So if the brand doesn't pay me and I've just been lending an outfit from a showroom and I post a picture and then the brand uses that picture and put the shop tag, which means they basically commercialize my picture and they have no right to do that. And the worst is when they tag the shop, they do not tag me and they do not tag my photographer.
Wow.
And it pissed me off so much because I love photography. I worked in a photography shop. My partner does photography. I tag my partner. I tag every single photographer I work with because I respect their work. And I find it very disrespectful when an individual or a company shares someone else's picture and do not put the rightful tags. You're basically stealing the copyright and you're stealing someone's work. They've put so much efforts.
It's poor ethics, yeah.
It's ethics.
And for you now, you put those clauses in.
Yes.
And obviously there's ways to negotiate around it. So now you've become kind of more...
I'm very strict, yeah.
Okay.
One of my main clauses is the time limit on image licensing. And my saying is credits.
Credits. Okay.
And I would chase up if I see pictures being reposted of me by brands.
Okay.
Um,
Okay. And is there a particular brand that you think is a model example of how they approach this, or do you think there's like now their PR is sorted? Most companies now have a solid.
there's still a lot of companies who are not.
There's a few horror stories.
There are a few horror stories which I'm not going to go into
Of
details.
course. Maybe write a manga about it one day.
I love working with independent brands
Sure.
because they're only wanting to learn.
Sure. More authentic.
They're so authentic. They're like, I'll tell them I want this and this and this, and like, sure.
Sure.
Please teach me.
Cool.
And I'm like, oh, this is great.
Yeah.
You're paying me. You're respecting my work.
Yeah.
And I'm helping an independent brand to grow bigger.
So that's the ideal scenario.
Yeah.
Okay. And are there any other myths just before we...
The myth of overnight success.
Overnight success. So yeah, that's the thing. How quickly do you... I mean, there's people wondering like, I'm liking pictures for a month, I'm reposting, I'm this, I'm doing stories, I'm engaging, like it's so slow, but how important are those incremental baby steps?
They're so important.
Yeah.
I keep doing it myself.
Okay.
I would spend time and go on hashtags to find new accounts to like.
Okay.
Small people, because I know that those baby steps make me grow every day. You cannot rely on what you already have because things can disappear overnight. Yeah. And things such as overnight success, when I say it's a big myth, all the biggest influencers and celebrities today, when you hear about an artist, singer, who becomes famous the next day, let's say all the songs of a singer are on the radio, and like, wow, I love it, she came from nowhere. He came from nowhere. I'm like, this person has probably spent a year and a half writing the album, spending time in recording studios, spending time networking, spending time before being signed to the label. It's like, and usually when someone comes onto the radio, like a new artist, usually they had an EP release a year before, and it was a whole year of promotion.
I see.
Overnight success with social media stars.
Okay.
All the big ones that have over 1 million followers, they've been on social media, most of them since 2012.
I see.
And they've been growing and growing and growing, and it's just the moment when they reach the amount of follower, or they've reached that big deal, or they've reached the network of celebrities. It took them months to years, and then one day it's just a snowball effect. But it's a snowball effect of the eyes.
How long do you think Instagram will be able to keep this up?
I have no idea actually. But I'm not counting just on Instagram.
Sure.
I think relying on one network is not enough.
Of course.
That's why I think it's really important to have both an online and offline presence.
Okay. Do you have a split? Do you have a 50-50 energy split? Like, do you focus more on one than the other, or do you feel that having 3 channels online, I don't know how many channels offline, or do you go with the flow?
I go with the flow. I used to be on Google Plus. I had a community there, and then they shut it down in 2000. Yeah,
there
April.
you go. You never know what.
You never know. But because I still had my other channel, Instagram, I know that if Instagram gets deleted tomorrow, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Because my offline presence is still strong. Again, I got my Excel sheet.
Yeah.
So I know that I can still contact those people.
15,000, yeah. Lovely. Okay. Well, just want to finish off on future projects. Anything that we can look forward to? Are you going to write a book? Are you going to? You said you might be an actress one day. You're not sure yet.
I said just maybe. We'll see if the opportunity comes. I have no acting skills, and it will be kind of I don't know, disrespectful to people who's been.
Have you seen 50 Cent? His acting. I mean.
I haven't.
No, shocking though.
But I know that you can learn with time. Right now, I really want to concentrate on my debut single and my company, the Balthazar.
Of course. Well, we will look forward to the single, and we look forward to your little guitar piece for Martin's Night.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.